Joining me now is Sky News Australia's media watchdog columnist Jared Henderson, live on the desk, as always.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's good when they come back. David Marr.
Yes.
We like David.
Yeah, I like David.
He's all right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really think that struggling Australians have too much to worry about, does he?
Well, David Marr said to me when we had lunch recently that because I hadn't had COVID, he said I should get out more. But in fact, he should get out more because he wouldn't be saying these sort of comments if
So
he.
For context, let's play a grab of him where he's a bit dismissive of the plight of the everyman.
But I think at the moment it's not managing to sell this in the way that it was hoping to. But, it's early days. We're a week out from the budget. We're 2 years from the election. I'm sure that's what the Prime Minister is thinking.
Maybe not all the dust has settled. But, Anna, do you love the word hurt appearing? This is going to hurt small business and it's going to hurt people with trusts and it's going to hurt business in general. As if we're not just talking here about paying a few bills, but it's pain. It's the pain. And of course, I'm also in love with the argument that to tax people is to destroy their aspirations.
Jared, you've got to stop hanging out with this guy. I'm sorry. I want to make, before I get your thoughts on it, I want to make a few points now, because that's the first time that I've seen this grab. It is incredibly hurtful to a family when you're going through poverty. We know that poverty leads to more death, all-cause mortality. It leads to lower standards of living. It leads to the psychological feeling of feeling trapped. It is one of the most awful states to exist in. And for him, from a very privileged, I'm sure if he's dining with the likes of you, Jared, he's in a fairly well-off position in life. For him to dismiss that and to not understand that economic pain is actual pain, that's crazy to me.
I think he thinks that some of the people who complain about the budget all of them are wealthy. Well, they're not. But it's the mocking about pain and being hurt and it's the sort of dismissive language. Because most of these people he's talking about have some money, but they're certainly not wealthy. They're not welfare recipients, but they've got some money. They're trying to make their way. And to sort of sneer at them and then to sort of sneer at their aspiration, well, David grew up in a pretty comfortable background. He probably didn't need a lot of aspiration, but a lot of people did. And you shouldn't mock it. But what was interesting that no one sort of picked him up. Anna Henderson didn't say anything. And, if I was there, I would have said, oh, come on, David.
Well, the notion that young people from the budget aren't going to be hurt by it, I think it's just false.
Well, we know that very clearly now.
And that's how they feel.
And you see all these people now on television, on Sky News and elsewhere, who are saying just how hurt they are because they're very worried about their future. They're going to lose a bit of money here. And it's a very real feeling. But David just dismisses this because he doesn't understand it, because he mixes, like so many at the ABC, although he came out of Fairfax, but like so many into the ABC, but like so many at the ABC, they only mix with one another. And they don't feel hurt by this because they're not involved in sort of trying to build assets.
It was also, I don't want to be too catty, but the way that he said it, he leaned in and he goes, so you're hurt, this kind of oozing, contemptuous tone. To me, he has no idea what it's like to be poor. He is absolutely no. I'd like him to go talk to some Australians that are doing it tough, just to see that, there is an actual real hurt associated with economic pain.
And worry.
Yeah.
Particularly worry, I think, about the future.
And he obviously thought that word was an inappropriate word because it associated with some kind of physical pain or physical harm. I guess that's his point. I'd love for him to explain. Let's move on. Let's not spend the whole show talking about your friend. Nick Bryant, Hannah Ferguson. We've spoken about Hannah Ferguson. And just for context, before we play this grab for everyone, she is the person that when Charlie Kirk in America was gunned down, shot dead, murdered because of his political views, she went to social media, and one of the things that she said was sometimes there is a time for political violence. So that's her, by the way. She still bills herself as being a progressive, but that's what she really thinks. Those are her words, not mine. Let's play an interview with Nick Bryant and Hannah Ferguson.
What we've seen from so much of the Murdoch media this week is such a boring, reductive conversation that panders to a minority when most Australians agree that something fundamental needed to change. And so this broken promises rhetoric isn't the interesting part. These discussions, like, wage earners versus people who have, earnings from property portfolios, this is the crux of the conversation that needs to be happening, and it's a far more interesting perspective to look at.
Well, what Hannah Ferguson is saying there is that people don't care about broken promises, and they do. And also she's saying the only people who do care about it are the Murdoch media, which is completely false, because even Sarah Ferguson on 7:30 had a go at the Prime Minister for broken promises. And
she was quite good on that, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was good on that, because she asked three good questions and didn't nag about it, but asked three good questions.
She's not a muppet like this activist.
No. So what you've got here is, again, is someone who's completely out of touch. I mean, the idea that if you look at the reaction to the budget, the reaction to the budget was not that people were bored about a discussion of broken promises. The interpretation was they were very angry about the issue of broken promises, but she just can't feel that at all. She just has no understanding of that.
Because we're all quite reductive, aren't we? Right? Because she's such an intellectual,
and she thinks she says she's a progressive, whatever that means. But I mean, if she's a progressive,
well, it means you think political violence is sometimes acceptable. Apparently, that's what a modern progressive.
But if that's what you are, I mean, she's completely out of touch again. But also, Nick Bryant didn't come back and challenge that comment. He just went on to something else. He went on to ask her what the young people she knew were saying. Well, what the young people she knew was not what the overwhelming majority of young aspirational people were saying. Again, out of touch.
Jared Henderson, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate it.